changes that around. Now, I'll be really honest with you. I've been asked, what do I think of Recon Africa? Well, you know what? I'm a very positive person. And what I love is, here is a Canadian company going against the grain, exploring in undeveloped, totally unexplored basins. That is a real positive. And their share price has done well, whether you agree with it or not. It has made people money. So those are the things that everyone wants to do. So anyone who's trying to be negative at this point, and yes, it's unproven, but it's a very positive story. And I would argue as an explorationist, how many people drill first on projects that perhaps they should for a fraction of the cost of shooting a load of seismic and then don't drill at all? What is key to oil and gas as a geologist is the fact that there is oil and gas there. Is there a source rock that is mature and producing hydrocarbons? Well, if you look at the cost of perhaps exploring traditionally the Namibian basin that they're focused on, you would have spent 3 times what they've spent to prove a hydrocarbon system. I'll leave you with that thought. We'll explore that on the stage. So can I welcome to the podium for his pitch, Grayson Andersen, who's the Manager of International Relations for Recon. He's Corporate Vice President of Capital Markets previously with Frontier Energy, advisor to Geopark Limited on capital markets, investor relations, Canadian Natural Resources Limited in Calgary, Bachelor of Commerce, co-op degree, Memorial City, Newfoundland. Grayson.
Thank you, Mike. It's good to see you in a chillier environment. We were both at Africa Oil Week in Dubai last week, which was very well attended and very well received by everybody. I'm here today to speak to you about Recon Africa. It's an extremely exciting story. As Mike mentioned, we're discovering the newly discovered Kvango Basin, which is in northeast Namibia, northwest Botswana. Before I get going, I'd like to remind everybody that this presentation will contain forward-looking information, and our risk factors are available in our annual AIF forms, which are available on SEDAR. As you can see from our introduction slide here, some of the things that are Canadian-centric to this even opening slide is you can see our low-impact seismic program that we've done this year using the Polaris weight drop system. Again, it was a Canadian system from a Canadian company, originally designed by Apache and Polaris in Northeast BC, again, to do low-impact seismic, so you have minimal environmental impact, yet still getting the desired signal and amount of information for your seismic program. So what is the newly discovered Kvango Basin? It's 8.5 million acres, a significant portion of land that we believe encompasses the entire sedimentary basin. We believe there are 5 subbasins within the Kvango Basin. As you can see from the map, about 2/3 of the basin sits in Namibia and a third in Botswana. As Mike mentioned, we drilled first before shooting seismic. We originally planned to drill 3 wells. These are basically 3 wells we decided to drill after buying our own drilling rig and shipping it over to Namibia in late 2020 to start drilling earlier this year in 2021. The first well that we drilled was completed in April. It was a stratigraphic where we encountered 5, maybe 6 potential reservoir zones, encountering 3 different types of gas, C1, C2, C3, and light oil, which came back in the water-based drilling fluid, as well as some gas and oil shows as we were drilling. Well, the 6-1 well, similar type of results. So following the success we had with our first 2 wells, proving up a conventional migrated petroleum system, hydrocarbon system, we decided it was time we didn't need to drill a 3rd well, and we'd instead go about exploration in a more conventional way. In a basin that didn't have any well control, the last well drilled anywhere near where we've drilled was drilled in 1964. The Etosha petroleum well, which was I believe it's about 300 miles away. But what we learned from that well, from the rocks in that well, is that there was a Permian age Karoo rock. Dr. Jim Granith, who's one of the great people behind our company, theory that as you went east, that Karoo and Permian age rock got thicker and deeper, which is why we've ended up where we are. Why Namibia, Botswana? When Craig Stanke, our founder, went looking for new oil and gas plays globally back in 2012-13, he had a set of criteria: 11 above ground, 11 below ground. Is it stable? Is it a licensed system, PSC type system? What were the systems? Do they respect rule of law, contracts, etc.? Namibia fit those bills, that bill significantly, as did Botswana. License contracts, royalties are between 3 to 10%, depending on which country. And as we've had a very busy 2021, we're going to have an even busier 2022. So where does the company come from? As I said, Craig did some basin study analysis with Jim Granith and Dan Jarvie, very well-respected US oil and gas guys. Had this theory about the Kvango Basin being an extension of a Permian age source rock system. Got the acreage in 2014, and as everybody's aware, in 2014, oil prices went from 100 back down to 40. So exploration went off the table for almost every country globally. We sat on the land until about 2019, where we went public via an RTO. So, since that time, we've raised about $100 million. We've got about half of that left. We've bought our own rig, refurbed it, shipped it over to Namibia, drilled 2 wells, now shot 450 kilometers of 2D seismic. So we've got a very active plan going ahead with us. We're currently interpreting the 2D program, and we'll follow up with a seismically defined multi-well drilling program in 2022 once all of that information is compiled. Additionally, that seismic program will lead to a resource report in the first half of 2022, and we'll be going through a farm down joint venture process, because for a company of our size, with our capital ability, truly exploring, developing 8.5 million acres is going to take a lot more people, a lot more capital, and the more people and more capital we can get involved, the quicker it'll happen. So the reason why we drilled before we shot seismic was because the government of Namibia in 2010 had shot a tight grid aeromag survey that nobody had ever acquired, or was there and acquired it. We got Bill Cathy from Earthfield Technologies in the US to interpret it, and he said, good news, guys, this is a basin of between 30 and 35,000, and every basin in the world that has a commercial producing hydrocarbon basin has this characteristics. We drilled the first 2 wells, as you can see. One off structure, which is encouraging, because we did find the 5 to 6 different zones, as was mentioned before. This is the preliminary results for the first phase of seismic that we've just completed, 450 kilometers. As you can see, lots of structuring, stratigraphic, structural traps. We're really encouraged by it. I basically just walked around Africa Oil Week last week with that picture in my hand, and when I put it down in front of geologists, most of them reacted, their face told the entire story. We're extremely excited about what we're doing in our office here in Calgary these days, in terms of getting more information and detail with respect to our seismic as we go through the interpretation process. Our people, everybody talks about people today. Here are our technical people. Jay Park, many of the people in the room are very familiar with Jay. He's a Calgary-based lawyer who's done international petroleum law for multiple decades. Jim Granith, Scott Evans, our CEO, former Halliburton and Exxon, and the Honorable Diana McQueen, who's our Senior Vice President of Communications. As many of you are aware, she's the former Energy Minister and Environment Minister here in Alberta. We talk about monetizing the hydrocarbons. It's something that everybody talks about. Namibia, being a former German colony, has a phenomenal infrastructure. You can see the roads are well paved and well maintained. There's a rail network and a transmission network where we can monetize both oil and gas, turning molecules into electrons. ESG is critical to any having your these days. One thing that we've done, although we've raised about $100 million, we've committed $10 million to ESG initiatives. We think this is something that no other exploration stage company has ever done. We have a number of key initiatives: wildlife management, reform, education, and as was mentioned before, we've drilled 16 community water wells so far. We're going to drill another 6 with the current program and drill more as we go forward. Our ESG program, again, we're starting from a low carbon base, and we're going to maintain a low carbon base, carbon neutrality from the start. It's a critical part of our business, and we know that we have to be the most progressive, dynamic oil company in this day and age, given where we're operating. So here's some key conclusions. We have a fully funded exploration program for 2022. We have significantly de-risked the basin through drilling and seismic, and coming up in 2022, multi-well drilling program with joint venturing opportunities for everybody. Thank you very much.